Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need if you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from the Bulletcast. It's Philip. How's it going, man?
I'm not just from the Bulletcast, Daniel.
What?
Okay.
Where else are you from? You're from Hayward, the new home of
I am the world heavyweight champion of digital media audio from the Bulletcast. Listen, Daniel, you're going to get it right. You understand me?
Why you call me Daniel? God,
I heard Richard do it, so I want to do it.
Yeah.
He can't be the only one calling you Daniel, okay?
Not even my dad, my brother, no one in my family calls me Daniel. Only when I'm in trouble.
If I could shoot here for a second, brother.
Yes.
You know, like I like, let the people know. I only call you Huey. I don't call you Danny. I don't call you Daniel.
Thank you.
You know, it's just like Jimbo. I don't call him James.
Yeah.
I call him Jimbo. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People should just, for a while, one of my teachers just called me Podfather.
Really?
Yeah. Can we call me Microphone Messiah? Can I get some of that, please?
Call you Seth Rollins?
Get some. Right? No. Microphone Messiah or the Black Messiah. I don't know. Let me get something.
Eminem?
No. These weak arms are heavy. There's vomit on his ready. I messed up the line. No.
You and vomit are not very good together.
Hey, hold on, man. We don't talk about that one time. Oh my God. How you doing though, man?
I'm good. Hey, it's a Thursday night, back at it. The weekend is almost here. I don't know about you, man. Here we are in 2021. I'm like, February's almost done. I'm like, God, we're already 2 months into the new year. Still waiting to get my vaccine. I don't know about you. I signed up to get alerts when I'm eligible to get a vaccine because, here we are in the East Bay of the Bay Area of Northern California, in case anyone's wondering where we're based out of. Which, on a side note, dude, so, we use Anchor to upload our podcast and host it. And you can look, like, where's your most listened, countries and states and city. Dude, like, obviously, U.S. is number one. But our number one, I think, if I remember correctly, it's New Jersey. We have listeners in New Jersey. I was like, what? Oh, my God, that's crazy. So I figure, I'm so used to just being so local-minded, especially working in radio. I got to remind myself that, people listen to In The Kliq all around the world, the country, whatever.
Have you checked your YouTube analytics to see where people are watching from?
No, I got to check that too.
Dude, that's weird. Like, I had Egypt for like a little bit. I was like, what? And the United, or was it Ermites or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking. I was what? People are listening there?
Oh, Emerald. I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
United Emerald. Yeah. I know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was like 3%. I'm like, who's listening here? What 3 people are these?
It's amazing. And that's what I love about podcasting is you and I are recording at our respective homes and people around the country and the world are listening to us.
I was big in Pakistan for like 5 weeks.
It's awesome. But so with that being said, you and I, if we get like on local discussion, I got to remind myself, there's people listening who don't know probably our area, what we're based out of. But so anyway, here in the Bay Area at the Oakland Coliseum, they got the big like vaccine set up there. And I went to go like make an appointment for like check on my dad, my brother, me. And my dad's eligible right now based on this current phase and the age bracket. but you got to make an appointment. All the appointments are filled. So I've been checking every morning, see when new appointments open. So anyway, I just want to get a vaccine, get everything back to normal, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's why I'm like, I can't believe 2021 is going by so fast. It's insane. So, but yeah, hopefully things will, like I said, get back to normal very soon. And, just in the meantime, get our vaccines, keep wearing our mask. And as you say, wash your, what was that again? Wash your
hands, wash your face, wash your ish.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of the Bay Area, you and I were laughing off the air, which I encourage all the Kliqsters out there. Make sure to follow Philip on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle again?
My personal is at HeelAntwine, HeelAntwine. Ladies and gentlemen, I live in a gated community because I'm a higher class than most of you. So yeah, and I see a video on Instagram about 45 minutes to an hour before we started recording this about a horse was right outside my gated estate, running up the hill. There are a couple gas stations across the street.
Mm-hmm.
He ran in the intersection of Tennyson and Mission, and he was running by a 76. Maybe he wanted some pretzels or something. I don't know.
But I was like, the video, the person narrating was funny in itself, but I don't know if I could play the audio back like on the air, just what the guy was saying. But nonetheless, seeing a horse running down the street in Hayward, I was like, what? Oh my God. And my aunt lives in that same neighborhood. So anyway, actually I should download the video and send it to her. That's what I should do. I'm going to do that later. So, but anyway, yeah, it's like 2021. I know everyone was so over 2020 for obvious reasons with the pandemic and want to just move on. But the new year, it's still the same old S. Crazy things are happening. Horses are running all over the place. So anyway, it's a crazy time. And I guess it's even crazier. So just a little bit of tidbits, news-wise to get into before we start talking about AEW Dynamite. So, over on Impact Wrestling, I know you and I, we've been talking a little bit more Impact Wrestling, just obviously because with the crossover with AEW and just the big thing from this week's episode of Impact was Scott D'Amore officially announced, or I guess reinstated, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the one that Moose has been carrying around as a prop, but he reinstated it as an official heavyweight championship for the company, for Impact Wrestling. So Rich Swann, who's the Impact champion, Moose, the TNA champion, they're both like even now, I guess, as far as the number one titles for the company.
Yeah, man, it's like back in the day with the WWE and the World Heavyweight,
Yeah,
I won't count the Universal because that doesn't even matter. Roman's trying, he's trying, but it really doesn't even matter.
Actually, quick little side note before I forget. So this week I recorded with John LaRocca a couple nights ago, and I had an email come in from one of the Kliqsters, which you can email us anytime, inthekliq@gmail.com. I want to get into more email segments maybe for every episode that we do. But one of the questions I got was, do you think if Edge, hypothetically, wins the Universal Championship from Roman at WrestleMania, do you think he should retire the Universal Championship and bring back the big gold belt?
Dude, I think what's going to happen, bro, let's talk some WWE real quick. Some WWE, as Kurt Angle would say. Go listen to his podcast. I know the Bone supports it.
I know.
yeah, man. So I'd be like, no, I want to wrestle for the title that I never lost. And then boom, we bring back the big gold, throw that monstrosity in the garbage. You don't even keep it in the warehouse.
The cursed title.
Yeah, man. And then because just bro, like Edge and Roman, that just hypes you up, right? Because Edge just brings something different. He brings that old school element to it.
I didn't even think about that. Okay.
And then if you bring back the big gold, you're like, oh, that's the title. That's the title that's the most synonymous with wrestling besides the Winged Eagle. And you're like, gives you that extra umph.
So if Edge comes down to the ring, maybe with a briefcase or something, and be like,
no, it has to be a velvet sack.
A velvet sack. Okay, yeah, okay. And he says, listen, I want to win back the title I never lost, and brings that out. That could be, oh man. And there's going to be crowd at WrestleMania.
Yeah, or you know what? You could do what they did with Kofi when he won the title from Daniel.
Yeah.
They didn't give him the eco-friendly. They had the WWE title right there, and Christian could rip it off, because I think Christian will get involved in this storyline, probably get like speared or choked out or something.
Yeah, and maybe he can help like what New Day did for Kofi at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And, you know, WWE, WrestleMania are all about moments. What great moment that would be. Oh, okay.
And I think the night, because night 2 of Mania is the 10-year anniversary of his retirement speech.
Yep. It is. So
it just writes itself.
Totally. Dude, a full decade later. Yeah. Come on. You and I, let's do WWE Creative. Let's join them. Get back Freddie Prinze, and yeah, we'll have fun. All three of us working together. Which, shout out, listen to Freddie Prinze's interview with Chris Van Vliet. I really did enjoy that interview. That was
Dude, I'm just gonna be asking Freddie, like, so on She's All That. How did you get? What was Paul Walker like? Was he really a cool dude? You know, started asking all these questions.
I love Freddie Prinze, man. Growing up, Freddie Prinze Jr., I should say.
FPJ.
Yeah. I loved everything he did. All the movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1 and 2. I mean, the Scooby-Doo. Well, see, for the Scooby-Doo stuff, that I was like, by that time I was in high school and college, so it was a little bit. I mean, the demographic I was out of the demographic, I'll just say. But
no, dude, you could have watched those. There were like so many sexual innuendos and adult jokes in those.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, dude.
May have to go back and watch them. But,
it was for like Freddie switched places with the oh my god, what the redhead?
Yeah.
Daphne. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they switched places, and he was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go look at myself naked." Which, I mean,
yeah. but and also shout out to Chris Van Vliet. This week he released an interview with another one of my favorite wrestling podcast hosts, Solomonster. So Jason Solomon. Jason Solomon. I think that's his. Solomonster is his nickname, but Solomonster. I love that episode. It's really fun interview, so check it out. Like I said, I've been listening to Solomonster for years, and I thought that was really cool that the two of them got to talk. But anyway, back to Impact Wrestling with Moose having the TNA Championship back as a real thing. So I'm just guessing it's going to lead to a unification match between him and Rich Swann. So they have a match coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if they add a stipulation that the winner will get both belts and becomes the official champion for Impact Wrestling that day. So anyway, Philip, I'm just laughing because, Moose last year found the old TNA belt design and just started bringing it to Impact every week. He just started claiming he was the TNA champion. So I just like how he kind of naturally just forced himself to be TNA champion and just took on this persona as a world champion. So I don't know. I'm with you. Like, I was thinking, like, how many other people can like start showing up to a wrestling promotion with their own belt and just start saying, I'm the world champion now, and force their way into it.
I'll do it because this is already a real world's championship in podcasting. Like, I'll go to GSW, their show in May.
Yeah.
Dio Galvano will be like, I'm the next gen champion. I'm on the same level. I'll be like, up. No, you're not, buddy. So
that's what I'm saying. You could, go to a GSW show, bring the Bulletcast Championship, and just start claiming you're the number one champion in that company now. I just think you should start doing it. Just be like Moose. That's the new trend. Be like Moose in 2021 and just start declaring yourself a champion of a promotion.
Might do that, dude. Uga's having a show next month. I might just pop up there and do it.
Dude, you could be like Omega. Instead of being like a belt collector, you're just going to go as many promotions as you can.
Just a traveling champion.
And just claim yourself to be champion.
Like, Nick Aldis, you think you're a national treasure? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Mickey James, come get a real national treasure. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's the Wild Wild West over in here, boy.
So, man, no, it's very, very cool. Good stuff. And so, Impact's, doing their thing. And I try to tune in where I can. And, they're doing their best just to keep the stories moving along. And some matches are really good. They have some pretty good wrestlers over there. And also, I still love the AEW kind of crossover stuff. That's all good. So, but also a big news story that came out as far as involving AEW. It was announced this week that Paul Wight, formerly known as WWE Superstar, The Big Show, former WCW star, The Giant, has officially signed and is now going to be working with AEW. So I was shocked. So Philip, So it's just funny. So the news came out, a couple of days ago now, and I was sitting at my desk at work, and, I get the press releases from AEW. Do you get the press releases too? Sent to you, those ones?
Yeah.
Okay. So literally, I'm up early in the morning at work, and I see this email from AEW and says, big announcement. And I was like, oh, okay, what it is. Cause an official announcement from AEW can be a variety of things. It could be a new signing. It could be like a video game announcement, a toy announcement, whatever, something. So I was like, oh, okay, a new podcast announcement. So I clicked on it and I started reading it, and it said Paul Wight has signed with AEW. And I took, like, I swear to God, I did a double take. I said, Paul Wight? Wait. And like, it took me a second. I was like, isn't that the Big Show's name? So I went to Google and I went to double check, and I was like, yeah, that's Big Show's name. And I was like, what? He signed? And I went to AEW's social media, and they just tweeted it out as well. I was like, oh my God, Big Show's joining AEW. What the hell? So yeah, man, what were your thoughts on this announcement of one of the longest guys in the company, WWE, has jumped ship to AEW?
Dude, like, a couple of days ago was like his 22-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, I was like, well, it sucks I'm never going to hear that song again. Oh, man.
You will maybe down the road. When he goes into the Hall of Fame eventually.
He won't go for like a cool 15 years.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick before we get into the more Big Show discussion. Who do you think that's currently in AEW that has long history with WWE will eventually get into the Hall of Fame first? Jericho, Big Show, or Taz? Those are all three active guys now in AEW who have long history with WWE.
What about Malenko's over there?
Oh, Malenko, yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, out of those guys, who do you
Jericho.
think will be the first to get into the Hall of Fame eventually?
What about Cody and Dustin?
You think they'll eventually get into the Hall of Fame eventually?
Dustin, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cody, I'm not sure. I know Jericho, Cody, and Show, they'll go in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's interesting, like, when
Jericho, Chris, and shit. Yeah.
It's just, I think all matters when they're all officially retired, and then how long will they have, WWE will hold off. You know, sometimes WWE can be a little petty with stuff like that. So as long as they're not active.
Vince is not petty. Don't start that here.
I didn't say Vince. It could be a lot of people in that company.
Don't start that hate speak here. No, but I think the real question is, who's going to be the first from AEW just to jump to WWE? I think it's MJF.
See, and that's another question I had with John LaRocca the other night when we recorded. One of the questions from the Kliqsters was, who do you think from AEW is going to be the first one to jump over? Because, listen, AEW's been around now for a couple of years. And so anyone they sign early on, maybe to like a 2-3 year deal, those contracts could be expiring very soon. And so you would think once those contracts are up, there's bound to be someone from AEW who's going to jump ship to WWE and NXT specifically. So I said Scorpio Sky. I think that's someone who might be leaving AEW soon. He's someone that, is very talented, but I feel like hasn't gotten a big push at all. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he might try to leave and just try to go elsewhere, especially, SCU's kind of not really doing anything right now. So, but you think MJF could be someone that could leave and go to WWE?
Absolutely. He can wrestle the WWE style. He fits the mold of the heel. I could see him in the backstage segments. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman to WWE. And you know with Big Show going over to AEW, they're like, oh, it's all ex-WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I'm like, you know what? Name me one company out of the NWA, AAA, New Japan, Impact. Name me one of those Ring of Honor. Name me one of those companies that doesn't have any former WWE talent. You can't.
Yeah. Well, also, we think about WWE has had such a monopoly on the wrestling industry for almost 20 years. You're bound to have someone in a separate company outside WWE that was a former WWE employee. They've had so many people come and go from that company over the last 20 years because that was the only game in town. So you're bound to have a promotion that's going to have a former WWE superstar on their roster. It's just the way it is. I mean, that's why I'm kind of glad there are so many other promotions doing their thing now, just to give people a variety and wrestlers a variety of places to go work and make their money. So anyway, this whole thing was very interesting. I was shocked. I mean, I think a lot of people, when that announcement came out early in the morning, was like, what the hell? What's going on? We just saw the Big Show back in January, the first week of January, on that first episode of Raw in the new year. The Legends Night, he had that backstage segment from Randy Orton. He was getting belittled from him, but nonetheless, we just saw him. He had the WrestleMania match with Drew McIntyre after he defeated Brock Lesnar. That was on the episode of Raw after. So, and he made occasional appearances. Even Randy Orton didn't have to do something over the summer as well when he was doing the Legend Killer thing again. So he was making sporadic appearances. I just assumed he was just semi-retired and he was just appearing here and there when he was able to or was called upon. I just assumed he was kind of just getting paid to stay at home. And whenever Vince or someone needed him, he'll just show up and work a match here and there. But the fact that he left AEW, I was shocked that I was like, what is going on? There's got to be more to this story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but hey, man, it's gonna be interesting. The big guys like Cage and Hobbs and Archer can learn some stuff from the big Smo to big Schlo.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just looking. So PW Insider was the one who kind of had like a lot of the details about what happened with WWE and Big Show. So if you have a chance, please check out that article. But I guess apparently, long story short, they were having contract negotiations up until the end of the year last year and beginning of this year. And I guess his contract was going to be ending after that episode of Raw earlier in January. So he was going to become a free agent anyway. And I guess he was even backstage that night and was kind of telling people how frustrated he was that things were not going properly as far as negotiations go. It sounds like WWE was trying to give him a pay cut or probably lowball him or not give him what he wanted. So he was frustrated with that. And it just sounds like, yeah, WWE, we're just not going to give him the payday that he was looking for, or maybe number of years, whatever the details were. But AEW, brought the money out and signed him a contract, a long-term deal for a few years, it looks like. And his deal, he's going to be a couple things. He's going to be, I guess, an active wrestler on the roster. But the other big thing here, I'm just looking at the press release here. He's also going to be a commentator as well for AEW for their second show, and I should say second YouTube show, AEW Dark Elevation, that will begin airing on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on AEW's YouTube channel. And him and Tony Schiavone, and I think that's going to start officially on March 15th, so in a couple weeks. So I'll be sharing the links to that on all of our social media pages as well. So check that out. So it's kind of interesting that he's going to be wrestling and doing some commentary. So I wonder, for him, maybe he felt he could do more in the ring for WWE, but they just didn't see him as the use of for him as much. I don't know, Philip. I mean, what about you? Do you still have any desire to see Big Show in the ring at all?
I was always a fan of his punch, the WMD.
Yeah,
people were like, that's a stupid finisher, dude. A man with that size fist, yeah, he can knock you out in one punch.
Yeah.
So I'm down to see that.
So for me, listen, I've been watching him since he debuted as the Giant in the mid-90s at WCW as Andre the Giant's alleged son against Hulk Hogan. So I've been watching him from day one. So, but, he's 49 years old. He's a big guy. His matches over the last couple of years have been okay. I think the last really good match he had was against Braun Strowman in the steel cage where they fell out. And I think it was after that's when he left to get a hip surgery, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, listen, I think Big Show, his body work, he's one of the all-time greats. He's one of the greater big men. He's accomplished everything. He's won all the major titles. But, for me, I don't have a big burning desire to see him wrestle on a regular basis. If he wrestles once in a while, that's cool. Maybe he's doing some commentary work and he'll jump up and maybe jump in to help someone out. I could totally see him. How funny would it be if he's trying to interview Marco Stunt? He's standing there and he's trying to get the mic to Marco Stunt.
Oh, they're going to wrestle each other, dude.
Or wrestle each other, or maybe someone's picking on Marco Stunt and he can jump in to defend him. I can see that dynamic. That could be kind of pretty entertaining. But outside of that, I just don't have a big desire to tune in and see Big Show. But to his credit, he has a big social media following. A lot of people know his name and recognize him. So if anything, it'll just get people talking about AEW, get some buzz, maybe people to tune in, and his social media presence can just get some extra plugs for the shows. So I guess that's cool for that aspect of it all. And as you said, he's a big guy. He's a veteran. He can maybe pass some of his knowledge to the big guys over in AEW and help them maybe become better in-ring performers from a big monster standpoint. So, I'm trying to think of all the positives that he could bring to the table for this company. And, I'm sure he has a lot of connections as well. And his time in wrestling can help things out. And he's always been great on the mic and very fun. So I'm really surprised. I didn't know he had any desire to be like a commentator. So that'd be cool if I'd be curious to see him and how Shivani are going to work together, though, as a commentator.
Absolutely. I'll give him some tips.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. He should stay seated. If he stands up, he's going to make everyone look so small. So as a commentator, he needs to stand down. Like even for me, case in point, like I always thought about maybe I should do some commentary or backstage interviews. I'm such a big guy. I would make a lot of wrestlers look so small. So that's why I was like, I can never do this. That's why like what made Mean Gene so great. Mean Gene was like a shorter guy. And so he always looked up to the wrestlers, made them look larger than life. And I think that's kind of the key for one of these backstage commenters, you know, as far as making the wrestlers look huge. That's why, like, Kayla Braxton is great at her job. Like, she just makes everyone look amazing on screen, right? So, I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun fit for them, for AEW, and I'm sure they'll have some fun. And he's got a lot of friends over there. Him and Jericho, obviously, they're former tag champions, right? So,
bro, the Jerry Show reunion, I'm excited.
And keep in mind, the big thing, for years, the last 10 years, there's been rumors that WWE was trying to get Shaq versus the Big Show at a WrestleMania or something. They had the stare down, all that stuff. Hey, look, Shaq is working with AEW now. Big Show's going to be there. Maybe we'll finally get it on TV or something. And
nah, we don't need that.
You don't need that. Hey man, I'll just say this. Listen, hypothetically, so he's supposed to make his debut with AEW or make an appearance next week on Dynamite. Next week on Dynamite is also supposed to be Shaq and Che Gargill versus Cody and Red Velvet. Shaq and Big Show are going to be in the building together at the same time. Maybe that could start something like a stare down. Or, hey, listen, we know Cody's been like legit hurt for a few weeks now. Maybe Big Show can help step in and help out with some of Cody's match in some way. So maybe Shaq and Cody can mix it up a little bit in the ring. So I'm just saying Shaq and Big Show could be doing something in the ring there. So I'm just saying, hypothetically, next week's Dynamite, there's a lot of reasons to start tuning in now.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm excited to see what Paul Wight is going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode of Dynamite. Hey, I thought overall it was a fun show. I mean, there's some little issues here and there, but I don't know about you, Philip. What do you think of kind of just the overall takeaway from this week's episode of Dynamite?
I thought it was cool. People lost that I thought should have won, and vice versa. But let's get into it.
I know you texted me earlier today. Said I got some hot takes, man, some fire takes. I'm like, all right, I want to hear this. I cannot wait. So, opening match, we saw former AEW World Champion Jon Moxley taking on the Hollywood hunk Ryan Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler's brother. Which, by the way. Is Ryan Nemeth officially signed with AEW, or is he just making these like one-off appearances? Like, how's he getting so much TV time lately? Like, what's the deal?
He's a Hollywood hunk. I mean, have you seen those abs? My. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm like, this guy's been on TV, I think, like the last 3 weeks in a row, plus Dark or whatever it's been. And it's like, he's getting a lot of screen time compared to the actual full-timers on that AEW roster. So, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm just kind of baffled. And, you know, he hasn't been wrestling too much lately in recent years. So, I guess at this point, he's doing a good job just being kind of a jobber. In this match, Moxley kind of led the majority of it, beating the crap out of him. Nemeth got some offense in. But yeah, it was pretty one-sided. Moxley getting the victory here, and then they cut a promo afterwards and just said that they have history with him and Kenny Omega and looking ahead to their match at Revolution. And he pretty much was trying to describe is it barbed wire exploding death match? Is that the right order of words there to describe
exploding barbed wire death match?
And, he said, it might be the last time you see me. And he's describing the history of it kind of over in Japan. And he more or less said he's addicted to this stuff. So I don't know about you, Philip. When he kept saying like addicted, I kept thinking of Eddie Guerrero's promo to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of also.
Yeah. So cool, man. Building up some more, hype for their match at Revolution this year. So, up next, we saw Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage take on the Varsity Blondes which is Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. Taz joined a commentary. I laughed when he said, "Oh yeah, my son Hook's here, but he's out back sitting in the car waiting to take us all to get some drinks." I'm like, wait, why is he in the back in a car instead of coming out like he normally does? But a little foreshadowing what's coming up next. But this match, was good. I gotta give Brian Pillman Jr. credit. Dude, he was taking a beating from Brian Cage. There was one point Brian Cage lifted him up and threw him against the pole outside, but he landed on the steps, like his ass landed on steps. And you could tell he was like, oh, like the back of his, lower back and ass were hurting. And you could tell Brian Cage was like, went to grab him and it looked like he was talking to him like, "Are you okay?" And then even after the match, jumping ahead, Cage won by pinning Brian Pillman Jr. He like whispered something in his ear, so probably said, "Thanks for taking a beating tonight from me." But yeah, what you think of this matchup here?
Thought it was cool. Ricky Starks, he looks great, man. He's like a young Rock, pun intended. Have you seen the show? It's a good show.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So he's like a young Rock, and Cage is just a beast. They needed to look dominant against the higher lower mid card tag team, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So they did good, and then Sting kidnapping. Those are kidnapping charges.
I know. So, okay, a couple things. So, yeah, I really like the Varsity Blondes. I really hope they have, they're going to, they're getting more time on Dynamite, which I'm happy for them. But I really hope that's a tag team they really start investing time with. Because I think between Varsity Blondes, Private Party, The Acclaim, Top Flight, they got some really great young tag teams there that I'm rooting for all of them to be very successful. In Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison, Brian Cage was beating up Brian Pillman Jr. and Pillman finally got the hot tag to Griff Garrison. Griff Garrison came in and was on a roll, just knocking everyone around. So I like that tag team a lot. But yeah, so after they won, the arena goes dark. A video plays. You see this car driving with Sting's glove. So trying to say it was him. And the body bag was dragging on the back of the dirt road, and opened up. It was Darby Allin sits up and he's got the TNT championship and he smiles. And then Sting comes walking out into the arena. The lights come back on and he points to the rafters, and Darby Allin comes sliding down on a zip line with the skateboard, a la very much like Shawn Michaels against Bret Hart, WrestleMania. Was that 13?
12.
12.
Anaheim.
So which one was better? Darby Allin coming down a zip line or Shawn Michaels?
Well, Shawn Michaels is the Hall of Fame world champion, so who do you think I'm going to choose?
Exactly. So anyway, they started beating down Team Taz. Sting, when he came out, he was dragging a body bag, and it was Hook, Taz's son, inside there. Where Taz was like, "What the? Oh man!" He gets up and runs over. But it's cool seeing Sting finally get a little physical. He hit the Stinger Splash and he hit the Scorpion Death Drop.
He was gassed.
Yeah, exactly. But here's my thing, though. As much as I love seeing Sting get some offense in and the good guys working them over, it was a little bit of my excitement, I think, would have been a lot more higher if we hadn't been seeing Sting as much. You know what I mean? You and I have talked about this for weeks. Ever since he debuted at December 2nd show, Winter is Coming, we've seen it pretty much every week except for 1 week. And so there's, I think, this Sting fatigue already. So I think if he was making sporadic appearances, this appearance alone would have been more impactful. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe if he had to get powerbomb for Brian Cage, they should have done that a few weeks ago, and that way he would have been off TV for a couple weeks to really sell the injury, then come back last night and really sell the fact that he's back, he's feeling better, and he's finally getting some offense in. And then it would have been a really cool, oh my God moment. I don't know about you. Is that something you kind of feel the same?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So next up, we see a backstage segment, Shivani interviewing Miro and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. I don't know. What you think? This segment was okay. It was a little cheesy to me.
You know how I feel about Miro.
It's just that they're talking just how the best friends or Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor ruined the wedding still. So they're still just, what's the word? Not dragging. They're still just, dwelling over it. So And all of a sudden, someone brings up a note and it says, like, would you want to wrestle us at Revolution? Sign yes or no or maybe. And so Miro says it was being childish, and he still likes Charles or Butler Charles, and still wants to work with him or have him work for him. So I wonder if Charles would maybe, leave Orange Cassidy, join Miro, or what the case may be. But he puts the paper in his mouth and then spits on Tony Schiavone. So, all right, we're gonna get a tag match at Revolution: Orange Cassidy and Chucky T versus Miro and Kip Sabian. So, yay, that should be a fun filler match on the card. Next up, we saw Brandon Cutler, who, which I was surprised. They said he was 8-1 in his last 9 singles matches, taking on Jake Hager here. It was kind of a one-sided match, though. Brandon Cutler got some offense in, but Jake Hager pretty much dominated and got the victory. Is there anything that stood out for you in this match?
This match should have been quicker. Cutler shouldn't have got that much offense in.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, after the match, Inner Circle comes out, start beating the crap out of Brandon Cutler. Of course, it leads to the Young Bucks running out, trying to make the save. Inner Circle runs out, and they grab the microphone and it's like, where's Jericho? Where's MJF? Come fight us right now. And then the big screen shows Jericho and MJF backstage talking crap to them. And then they pan out and shows Papa Buck is back there with them, all beaten up. Now, I don't know about you, man. That did not look like real blood. It looked like ketchup or jelly on it.
Yeah, it didn't. They need to get some kind of fake blood to where the substance or the aesthetic of it looks real. Because like, blood really drips like when you get cut. It really just gushes, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to do. Jericho in a very lovely Versace shirt, though.
I know. And so they both grab Papa Buck and throw him against the truck that has the Young Bucks' photos on it, the same one that we saw earlier tonight. They came to the arena, the Young Bucks, with their parents, and they took a photo in front of it. So a little foreshadowing, something was going to happen there. So they take their dad, throw him against the truck. And to the dad, to his credit, he took like the blood and like perfectly splashed his hands against the wall, dragged his hands down so really sell like the blood all over Nick Jackson's face. Then they threw him again, and then he smeared the blood down Matt Jackson. So the image of that truck with the blood all over Matt and Nick Jackson's faces, it was a great like just picture right there. I like the Young Bucks start running to go make the save, and you see you see Jericho and MJF beating the crap out of the dad some more, and then they turn to the side and you see the Young Bucks running. So you can see the entrance ramp was not that far away from where Jericho and MJF were standing. So I was like, what took so long? It was like a little bit of a delay. So it was like, because those trucks where they're parked was not too far from the entrance ramp. So I was a little bit like, should have made it look like they had to run much farther inside the arena. But anyway, what can you do? So next up, we saw a high package for next week's episode of Dynamite, which is going to be called AEW Dynamite, The Crossroads. So, Philip, any idea who probably came up with that name for next week?
Tony Khan.
Exactly. So it's Shaq and Jay Gargill promoting a match against Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. In this video, I will admit, I did enjoy seeing Jay, like, actual ring, doing some, like, moves in there, and Shaq on the outside cheering. So, Shaq they have not shown any video of Shaq actually working in a ring. I wonder if he's actually done any work, like, or any practice, or we should do, like, an over and under, how much time he's actually going to spend in the ring next week. Like, over and under 2 minutes.
You gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for it. That's why they haven't shown it. You gotta wait.
For Shaq.
Yeah.
I want to know what he's gonna wear, how long he's gonna be in the ring for.
He's gonna wear Lakers gear, duh.
What moves he's gonna do, if anything.
Shoulder tackle clothesline.
Yeah, exactly. So, next up we saw Isaiah Cassidy, one half of Private Party, come out with Matt Hardy and TH2. So I guess TH2 is now under Big Money Matt's what do you want to call it, like influence or faction or representation. I guess that's the better word. Taking on Hangman Adam Page. So what'd you think of this match here?
It was really good. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cassidy putting on a banger performance, but Hangman got the job done.
Yeah, to Cassidy's credit, he wasn't doing a lot of high-flying stuff that we're used to seeing with Private Party. It was a little more technical wrestling, which I appreciate. It was like something different.
Is the other one injured, or do we know?
I don't know. We haven't seen him in a couple weeks, right? I guess.
Yeah.
He was on Impact, though.
COVID? Do we know?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to how much Cassidy's been getting a lot of solo time on TV. Yeah. I mean, I hate to kind of assume the worst, but I mean, hopefully, everything's okay. But no, I've not heard anything official about that. But yeah, that makes you kind of wonder, though. Obviously our thoughts go immediately to one place thinking about that when someone's not on TV for a couple weeks. So, but this match, it was cool. Like, Hangman was kind of beating him up early on, and then Isaiah got the reverse, and Matt pulled Hangman against the ropes and, hurt his arm. And then Isaiah started really working on Hangman's arm in this match. And I thought that was really cool, just, seeing that type of offense from Isaiah Cassidy. And then it was at the point Inner Circle comes out to make the save. And I thought that was cool, seeing Silver and Reynolds come out, help out. And the ref kicked out Matt Hardy, and then TH2 were still there. And he's like, you guys watch Cassidy here. And then Hangman, his arm was getting so beat up, he couldn't really do the buckshot in the match. So I thought that was really cool, just, ring psychology as far as not be able to do your actual finisher. So so Paige then had to do, let's see.
Deadeye.
Yeah, his old finisher, Deadeye, and picked up the victory. But then Matt Hardy's voice is over the loudspeaker, very much like Wizard of Oz style. And he's like, you turned on me, and I'm gonna get payback. And he started beating in all the members of Dark Order, and he comes dragging out what's the guy, Dark Order number 5, Alan Angels, and tosses him, sends him through one of the tables out there, and then Dark Order and Paige chase off Matt Hardy to the back. So, hey, cool build up here, for their match at Revolution, the money match there. It's, and I'm kind of digging, Private Party as heels. I think kind of with their persona, it kind of fits more of a heelish, personality traits as well. So I think that's cool. But, one thing, we didn't really mention this last week, cause we were covering so much stuff, but, remember when, Dark Order helped make the save for Hangman Adam Page. I love when -1, Brody Jr. was the one who lead the charge. He came out and he started waving his arm like, come here, like telling the rest of the Dark Order to come in and help out. So I thought that was really cool. Nice touch that they're letting -1 be part of the Dark Order. And he's almost like calling shots as well. So it's like, I like that. He's like a little bit of a leader for them. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, I know, but what do you think of Dark Order and Hangman and Page still kind of working together? Even though, they've had their little friendship issues, they're still kind of want to be there for one another.
He'll join. It'll be in front of like a bigger crowd, and he'll get a nice pop.
Yeah. Next up, probably one of the worst produced segments ever from a production standpoint. It's Alex Marvez, who I love how every week he's just chasing down Kenny Omega. But this week, Kenny Omega and Don Callis were in some workspace, and they were welding something like a workshop, and they're building what Callis called it, the Moxley Extermination Chamber, and I guess prepping for their match at Revolution. But when Kenny Omega started speaking, like halfway through, the guy in the back was like using one of the drills or whatever standard thing. It was like making sparks and so much noise. I couldn't understand Kenny Omega. What are you saying? Did you make out any of that?
Once I saw like where they were at, I didn't even watch it. I thought it was that stupid.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. This is why you don't let people have creative control. This is exactly why. You don't let them have full creative control, because they're going to do stupid shit like this. This is the guy that people clamored over and got all wet over. Oh my God, he's the best wrestler in the world. Yeah, look at him now. Your self-proclaimed best wrestler in the world is the heavyweight champion of the second number 2 company, sure, but he's in terrible, horribly produced segments, horribly acted segments. The golf thing was stupid. The library thing was cringy and pedophile-ish. I'm not letting him anywhere near my kids. Kenny Omega, when it comes to the acting and the promo, he's not good. He's not good. You people need to shut up that you love him so much. And once I bring that up, you're like, oh, you don't have to be a good promo to be a great wrestler. No, yeah, that's not it. A lot of those dudes from the 80s that we love so much, Flair, Piper, Savage, those guys could talk along with wrestle in the ring. Kenny Omega, he's not that type of guy. Ric Flair, that's God tier. Kenny Omega is not God tier. Hell, he's mediocre. Let's just face it. He's mediocre.
Which, by the way, happy birthday to Ric Flair today.
Woo!
Woo!
Red lights, big cities, late nights, pretty ladies, kissing all the girls, even that fat one over there, and making them cry.
I love it. Next up, we saw a semifinal match for the U.S. bracket of the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Britt Baker taking on Nyla Rose. Now,
Britt Baker should have won.
Yeah, let's just say it. Yeah, Britt Baker should have won. I was really surprised with the finish here. Nyla Rose got the win. Now, this match was decent. It's better than a lot of the other women's matches that we've seen over the last year. I know a lot of people have been praising how great it is. And I'm like, yeah, it's good compared to what we've been seeing before, but it's still not like, oh my God, that was the most amazing match ever. I think they're going in the right direction. I think this tournament has really focused the top women stars, especially AEW main roster. I think the women in this tournament were their top performers so far. Sorry to anyone who was not in the tournament, but they're really showcasing the top stars here and giving them fresh matchups against one another and possibilities. So the match was okay. Nyla and Britt, who are both heelish, but Nyla was acting more babyface in this match because Britt had the little temper tantrum, went outside, came back in. By the way, that was like one of the longest 10 counts ever. Do they do 10 counts at all properly? Like, Britt Baker was like up way half the ramp or wherever it was on the side before she came back in, was throwing garbage cans and stuff. So she was definitely acting more heelish. So, but nonetheless, Nyla, I like how she was going to run into the corner, but Britt jumped out of the way because remember, that's how Britt got injured last year from Nyla Rose. But anyway, from a booking standpoint, I'm really surprised they went with Nyla Rose here. And she's going to move on to the finals of the U.S. side of the bracket. And then, so she's going to take on the winner of Thunder Rosa and Rio. And that's going to actually be on Sunday, this coming Sunday on Bleacher Report. So the next set of matches is with Thunder Rosa and Rio. Also, a couple of the Japanese matches, I believe, are going to be on Bleacher Report. And there's going to be like a 6-woman tag. So they're doing like a big AEW special on Bleacher Report this Sunday. That's going to be part of the tournament. And then the finals are going to be next week on Dynamite. So, I don't know, early prediction, Philip, who you think might win next week? You think it's going to be Thunder Rosa or Rio who's going to win that match?
I think Thunder Rosa. Because, I mean, with the whole Nyla Rose thing, like Nyla injured Britt back in last
summer,
year. Last year, yeah. So Britt should have won this one. I don't care how you would have done it. A roll up, hell, Rebel could have hit her in the back of the head with some brass knucks or something, or gassed her.
Yeah,
gassed her or something. Yeah. Do something like that so that we can get Thunder Rosa and Britt in the semifinals or whatever.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting as far as my pick is Thunder Rosa because Rio, she's already been champion, so I don't want to see her win this again because I really want this tournament to make new stars. And that's why I like you, I thought Britt Baker was going to win. I thought Britt Baker, she's a really popular female competitor for AEW. She's great on the mic, and there's a lot of people know her. But so that's why I was so surprised she lost here. And Nyla Rose, yeah, she's a former champion. She's had her time to shine. I'm glad that they're using her more now because I think for a few months, it felt like she was hardly on TV. And my thing is, we already saw her and Sheeta wrestle last year. So I was like, that's why I don't think she's going to win the tournament. But nonetheless, I didn't think she should advance here. Britt Baker versus Sheeta, I'm more interested in that matchup. So that's why I'm thinking out of Nyla Rose, Rio, and Thunder Rosa. It's like, okay, I want Thunder Rosa to win and go to the finals and then win the whole tournament and then take on Sheeta. And they had a great matchup. What was it was it All Out? Is that their first time they met up against each other?
I think so.
And they had a rematch, so maybe a third time they can wrestle each other. And then, let Thunder Rosa become the new AEW Women's Champion. So I'll be fine with that. Let Thunder Rosa win the whole tournament and then defeat Shida at Revolution, become the new Women's Champion for AEW. I think that'd be really cool. So that's what I'm going with. But yeah, this match was decent. It was all right. Like I said, it was better than some of the other women's matches we've seen last year. So I think they're moving the right direction. I want to be optimistic that they are still going the right way for the women's division overall. Anything else that you want to add to that?
No, that's
it. And then, we had an announcement that AEW will have the premiere or the debut of Paul Wight next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say next week. So main event time, it was for a spot in the Face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution. There's another qualifier here. It was Rey Fenix taking on Lance Archer. Now, let me ask you this. Was it a week or two ago they announced like Cody, Pentagon, and Scorpio Sky are already in this match at Revolution? They didn't have any qualifiers to go through. They were just announcing it. And now these guys have to fight their way into it. So I was just like, how come half the guys got to be right in there and the other guys had to fight their way in? Like,
they have higher stock in the company.
I guess. I mean, Cody, we obviously know that, but I was like, kind of make it a little bit fair. Everyone has to qualify for this. Which I thought this was a great matchup, and they do have a little history together in recent memory. They had that video interview from over the weekend, and they've been acknowledging they've been doing good things together. But Rey Fenix said he's the worst tag partner I've ever had, and that kind of set them off, starting to beat the crap out of each other. But I they also announced next week on Dynamite it's going to be 10 taking on one of the guys from the Acclaim, and the winner of that match will be added to the ladder match as well. So I don't know about you, man, but it's like, shouldn't like those two guys been taking on Lance Archer and Rey Fenix respectively? And then that way Lance Archer and Rey Fenix could have won those matches, and then both of them could have been in the ladder match at Revolution. I don't know. I'm just thinking like these matchups don't make sense. Like, I mean, 10 and who's the other guy from the Acclaim? Do you happen to know off the top of your head?
It's like
you know, the rapper
Tony,
one.
The rapper Max Caster.
Yeah. So one of those two are going to be in this match. I guess as far as getting a young upcoming guy, I guess it's a great opportunity for them on the pay-per-view. But unfortunately, because of this matchup, we're not going to have either Lance Archer or Rey Fenix. But yeah, what'd you think of the main event here? It went pretty long though.
It did. They were going at it. I thought Phoenix should have won this one.
Really? Why's that?
Because him in a ladder match, it's money, dude. It's kind of like Kofi in the Royal Rumble. He doesn't have to win it, but you know he's going to do something hella raw all the time. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So I like the chemistry they had in the ring. Lance Archer, the big babyface monster now. Rey Fenix, the more smaller, obviously luchador style high flyer. I thought they had some great moments together in this match. Like the first half of this, pretty intense back and forth, high flying, meeting each other halfway. Lance Archer with the hard hitting, the hard strikes. And then about halfway through, it got a little slowed down a bit. And I guess, all right, I guess that makes sense as far as they were going balls to the wall for so long. They're going to mix it up a little bit. I think came out one of the commercial breaks or whatever. Then at the very end, you could tell Lance Archer especially was getting a little more urgent because of TV time, and Jim Ross acknowledged that. And Lance Archer started doing some more hard-hitting stuff. He did with the choke slam. Let's see. I mean, I love where Archer does the tightrope walk, and then Rey Fenix hit the rolling cutter on Archer. And then Lance Archer smashed Rey Fenix with a Fisherman's Buster for a near fall. They climbed on the top rope. Rey Fenix took Lance Archer down with a Spanish Fly. That was an awesome spot right there. Archer powered out at 2, and then Archer collided Rey Fenix with a pounce, stopping Rey Fenix in his tracks. And then Archer chokeslammed Rey Fenix, and that's when Lance Archer, he had the spit, the drool coming out, and you could tell he's like, what can I do to stop this guy? Nothing's working. And Rey Fenix kicked out of that chokeslam, and then Archer finished. He just grabbed him, threw him on the top rope, threw him over his shoulders, and Archer finished off Rey Fenix with a blackout. So he got the win. I enjoyed the finish of this match as well, as far as it got a little more intense, it picked up the pace. And it was cool. Archer was celebrating, and he grabbed Ray Fenix and gave him a fist bump, and they acknowledge each other. So they kind of end on good terms still, because it does acknowledge that a battle here, but they're still friends at the end of the day. So that was very cool. So yeah, Lance Archer is going to be in that ladder match. I don't know. I mean, we got 4 guys in it now. Early predictions. Who you think might win that match?
I want to say Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, that's someone I really think he's due for a big win on a big stage like that. I mean, I definitely want to see him get something there. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed the main event overall. I really like Lance Archer, what they've been doing with him lately. He's been booked very strong and well protected as of late, and he's a baby face. So hopefully, yeah, maybe down the road he can get a title opportunity again at some point, maybe win it as well. But Ray Fenix, God, like, I know, like, on Lucha Underground, Pentagon was like the most beloved person on that show out of the 2 Lucha brothers. But Ray Fenix, I've been a fan for years, and he's really come along so much, especially in AEW. He's really shined out of the 2 Lucha brothers. I love watching him. This time he did a suicide dive, and he was like, I think he's trying to see how far he can get into the crowd before someone stops him. So Ray Fenix is awesome here. So, but yeah, it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to Revolution as well. It's going to be, maybe probably next week we can do like a preview for Revolution. They got 8 matches, looks like, announced so far. So maybe we can like do like a predictions, discussion next week as well.
Bulletcast titles on the line next week.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I put out a list so there's no more confusion.
That's a very small list, by the way.
What do you mean?
I think you should add some more pay-per-views on that.
It said cards subject to change.
All right, so yeah, we'll add some. I think you should do Impact, MLW, Ring of Honor. Yeah, every week. That title should be on every weekend.
No, that's how titles lose credibility. That's exactly how that stupid stuff happens.
Oh man,
no,
but
I only
overall,
defend it for titles pay-per-views that matter.
Anything else from this episode of Dynamite you wanted to mention or talk about?
I think that's it, man.
Yeah, no, overall, very fun show, and I'm excited for next week's episode of Dynamite. It's a go home for Revolution. Yeah, Revolution's coming up, man. It's next Sunday, or not next Sunday, the following Sunday, March 7th. So exciting stuff, man. All right, let's start wrapping things up. Philip, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at HeelAntwine, HeelAntwine. The Bulletcast on Instagram, The Bulletcast on YouTube, Bulletcast on Twitter. Email is bulletcast2 and the number 2 sweet swet@gmail.com. Complex Conversations, COMPLEXX Conversations on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Please check all that stuff out. Diamonds are forever. So is the Microphone Messiah. The next heavyweight champion of GSW coming soon, because I'm just going to take my title there.
Awesome. Good stuff. I'm Baby Huey. As always, follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. And of course, subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, YouTube. Please subscribe and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at In The Kliq. Get the merch from our Teespring store. You can find the link to that in our bio on social media. So support the show any way you can. And I'm trying to think anything else major. Yeah, stick around. We got a lot more great stuff coming up in the coming weeks. Looking forward to it. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.